Remember that the elements in an HTML page create a tree, and a given element can be the descendant of numerous other elements. The inherited styles accumulate in each element. So if I have a p tag, which is the child of a div tag, which is the child of a section tag, which is the child of a body, the styles in the body and section and div will all be inherited by the p tag. If there's a conflict between those styles, then the nearest ancestor wins. So in the case we were describing, if there's a conflict between the div and the body, the p tag would inherit from the div. Explicit styles in a particular element win over all other styles. Sometimes, however, it is difficult to know or determine which style should win when there are many conflicting styles. The actual rules for determining this are the specificity rules, which are mildly complex. Here's how you do it. You count the number of ID selectors. Set that to A. You count the number of class and attribute and pseudo-class selectors and set that to B. You set the number of type and pseudo-elements to C. You then concatenate A, B, and C to get the specificity. So let's look at the fourth line in the illustration, ul ol li.red. There's no ID selector, so A is set to 0. There is one class selector, so B is set to 1. And there are 3 type and pseudo elements. We then take that 0, 1, and 3 and concatenate them, and we get a value of 13. With pound x34y, we have just one ID. So A is set to 1, and B and C are set to 0, but that gives us 100, and a much higher value. Even higher than that is the last entry, which has an ID, which sets A to 1, and a pseudo element, which sets C to 1, giving the value 101. You can greatly simplify this system by simply assigning the value 1 for each tag selector, 10 for each class selector, and 100 for each ID selector, and then adding. In the vast majority of cases, this will give you the same answer with a good bit less work. Remember to treat pseudo-elements as 1 point and pseudo-classes as 10. Be sure to use the inspector to examine your styles to double check that you're getting the style you expect. Let's take a quick look at a demo that shows the difference in specificity.